On this episode of First Impressions, I spoke with Carl Leskinen, President and CTO of Burt, about Burt Intelligence, their ad revenue platform. The complete recording is available at Beeler.Tech. Here are some of the highlights from our discussion.
Machines will not replace humans when it comes to making decisions. That requires human creativity, it requires communication, but there are a lot of pieces leading up to that where machines are perfectly suitable, and that's the role we focus on solving for, to just allocate more time to the skilled operators of making decisions and then telling someone about it. What this is we have scanned through millions of data points, collected AI algorithm to extract what are the things you need to focus on. So these emails are all personalized. So this is the morning email. In this particular case, there were 3 of your campaigns where there's been, you need to look at. The first one is a campaign where significant discrepancy. What we do here, and we always try to go the extra mile in order to quantify things in actual money and not just impressions or clicks. This is what you're risking by not taking this seriously. And as you can see, it's easily quite big numbers happening. You can see here it's been going on for a while. It's not something that just happened yesterday. You can see breakdowns. This is a particular creative that's causing it, or device types, what it's been looking at over time. So this view here would only cater to a few people in an organization, not shy of looking at a lot of data. But here you have it all placed up next to each other. It's all heat map driven because it wants you to identify the outliers. So if you want to go even further down, look at, is it a particular ad unit maybe that's causing it, then this is where you go. And it all sort of, the end goal is always to either go into the source system and fix something, or to forward an email or communicate with one of your colleagues, call a meeting and decide on what to do. I would say we cover every major system out there. That would be roughly 100 different systems. I think where we distinguish ourselves is that we also have the capabilities to go knee deep into the more complex, unique systems. I mentioned Salesforce, operative order management systems, but also everyone tends to still have that old legacy Oracle database with a very important data point that they need to mesh into the digital systems. We'll set up those flows and tie it all together. In the same way, if you already made the investments in getting all your SSP data into a BigQuery, we'll just base it off that system or any of the other data aggregation partners out there. So for us, it's all about just helping you and us together in a partnership get to value. And if that is us building out a lot of integrations or basing it off something else, whatever gets us there in the fastest way with the highest trust possible, we'll take that route. I want you to receive an email like this or schedule a report or an insight the next morning. Make sure we provide some value immediately and then iteratively together work on increasing that, expanding that to both more systems, more departments, more roles. And we always look at our customer relationships as partnerships rather than us selling you a product and sending you a help center link and then never hear from us again. Couple of fundamental architectural decisions we made early on in that programmatic, display, video, social, it's all different streams of the same advertising data set. So there's really nothing in our platform which is siloed and only programmatic or only direct. When you look at an advertiser, it will be a mapped advertiser across all your different sources. And it could even go outside of digital as well. Also gotten to that point as an industry now where for a number of years, it was fine to have one team looking at only programmatic and one team looking at only direct. What we're seeing now, and you read a lot of thought pieces in the industry, is, well, programmatic could be a great lead gen for direct, and then direct has become programmatic with a lot of PMPs and programmatic guaranteed. And sometimes maybe you should shift an advertiser from direct because you're getting huge volumes, low CPMs, into more premium programmatic. So it is blending a lot. And no matter if you're on the programmatic or direct side, talk to an advertiser and you only have the complete picture of what that advertiser spend in programmatic, you're not gonna be in the best situation in sort of taking that conversation to them spending more with you as a company. So the platform is structured in a number of modules, each module specialized in a particular use case, and different users might have access to fewer or more apps the same way as they might have access to only a part of the data or all the data. And these are all built around particular use cases. The question you're asking now is around the data management, which is, I would say, one of the few real under the hood features that we've fully exposed to the users, because of just having done this many years, realizing that that's a extremely important capability. But quickly looking at this data management piece, and this is something that you probably only want to give access to your core users, as you here have the capability of changing definitions of what metrics means across the entire data set. You decide it here and then it propagates to everywhere. No need to ever go into a particular report and apply a filter, which you then need to reapply a second time. For example, go into DFP, you will see that there are a lot of metrics. In this case, we're maybe not running very much video. There's no point in showcasing it. Here's where you create your calculated metrics. If you want to do a gross net rev share metric, you decide it here and then it's available for everyone without the risk of them making the wrong definition or not understanding how they should do it. And a final very powerful concept here, and I think everyone working with DFP knows the challenge, that you have your ad units. It's a very powerful concept, but it's also very hard to grasp because ad units can mean a site, a section, a page, a placement, above, below the fold. It can mean a device type. It can mean pretty much anything. You as a ad ops professional know intuitively exactly what your different ad units mean, but sales rep or someone in client services or in finance don't. So what you can do here is translate that for you. And in here, for example, say, well, these first two ad units, Daily Times, Mail on Tuesday, they are news. And we then have two sports sites. And then once you publish this, you can then pull a report and see how is our news category performing against our sports category. This is information that doesn't exist in Google Ad Manager, but you have the ability to add it here. And then you do the same thing for the Rubicon zones. And then you can look at Google Ad Manager and Rubicon across how news and sports is performing. So here you can actually yourself add more data into the system and knowledge that usually only you knows, but everyone needs.
How can this make me more money than just save me money?
We walked through a very important use case here, and we have cases. I received, I think 2 days ago, a trafficker at one of our clients said that this email is really the backbone of my day. This has saved me so many times in identifying a problem before anyone else sees it's a problem, and even solving it before sales come screaming or the client wants a true up on their invoice or yield comes screaming saying you're over delivering and wasting inventory. You're able to get this in real time as it happens, when you're the only one in the world knowing that this happens, and you have maybe a few days to address it and recoup a lot of real money to the company. This is not just a slightly better CTR and maybe a slightly happier client. These are real money on financial terms where more money gets sent on invoices. Because this is all about what you do with the data. And if you already have it, great. It's just going to be even faster to get to a point where we can start doing and extracting some real value together. I mean, I didn't even show it, but it looks exactly as you would expect. A number of tiles of all the systems we have here. If you have set up 18 systems and it's 3 systems you weren't able to get into that particular platform, we'll set up those 3 connections and then bring the rest in and tie it all together and start working. So it's a very holistic approach to that. My philosophy as a business leader is always every day consider, is it time for us to disrupt ourselves? And 5 years ago, we were making all our money on doing data integration. And that was our bread and butter. And it's still a lot of business out there depending on it. But moving forward, that's not what I'm banking on will be a main driver for our company. It is really about what can we do with the data. So we shifted that focus a number of years back and started looking at ourselves as one of all these vendors that are out there capable of collecting all your data into one place. And then if it's us or someone else, okay, then the exciting part starts in doing something with the data.